I began this work on East Asia by considering the effects that markets and the state had on economic growth in the region. And this was a very controversial issue at the time because people saw this first round of newly industrializing countries as market-driven in some way. And part of the point I was trying to make was that political institutions, governments, really played a very strong role in guiding that growth process.
Steph is one of the most respected scholars of comparative political economy, meaning that he has studied how politics and the economy influence one another, and not just in one country or region, but in all developing countries.
Another aspect of my work has dealt with financial crises, and we're looking at the Ukraine now, and everyone's focusing on the Russian intervention. But of course, one of the drivers of that crisis was economic. And throughout my work, I've been interested in the relationship between economics and politics, and particularly how crises affect democratic transitions and processes. So when we look at the Ukraine, we often look at this as a geopolitical issue, but the domestic crisis at home was really, in the first instance, an economic one.
His comparative work is really very, very influential, including work that he did 25 years ago, as well as the work that he's done more recently. One of the greatest projects is on social welfare policies in Asia and Latin America. What are the political dynamics that explain why some countries, give health, education, and welfare differently than other countries do?
About 7 years ago, I got interested in North Korea, and one of the things we wanted to know was how a famine of this magnitude could occur. It probably killed somewhere between 600,000 and 1 million people. And of course, we were interested in finding out why it happened. But we were also interested in the aftermath, what happened during these kinds of crises. And one of the things we discovered that households moved, they traded goods. And so within the state socialist economy emerged the second market economy. So North Korea is in fact a much more dynamic, changing place than we often think of when we see pictures of goose-stepping soldiers and Kim Jong-un. My work gradually expanded into considering issues of democratization and why countries transited to democratic rule. And this was something that swept through South Europe, Latin America, and East Asia in the 80s, but it's a process which continued with the transition from socialist rule in Eastern Europe. And now we're in a phase when we're not sure whether that democratic transition process that began earlier is going to continue. And that's why there's such interest in the Arab Spring.
He enjoys the process of collaboration. He produces this very high quality work, and he just has a huge influence across the world in our study of comparative political economy.
So one of the things I really look forward to doing with the rest of my career is helping IRPS grow. This is a tremendous institution on the campus of UCSD, and we've been devoted to the study of the Asia Pacific, the region of the world that's growing most rapidly and is most dynamic and changing. So what I hope to do is continue to maintain my own enthusiasm and the enthusiasm of my students about learning on the development of this very dynamic and changing region.